Week 1 NFL picks and predictions. I'm ready for another big football season and it starts today. We have 13 games to watch on Sunday. It's a stacked card. I really enjoyed watching the games from earlier in the week, Chiefs, Chargers, and Cowboys, Eagles, but I simply watched those games as a fan. I didn't place any bets on those games, so you know what that means. I'm sharing my first NFL bet of the season in today's video. Here's my NFL betting record from last season. 126 wins and 79 losses. I profited 38 units last season with a 29% return on investment. I also made a profit in 17 out of the 21 weeks that I bet last season. I only had 4 losing weeks in the NFL, including the playoffs. It was my 4th straight profitable season in the NFL, and as we all know, that's no easy feat. This is a ruthless league and anything can happen. Also, all of the bets that I share on this channel are straight bets unless otherwise stated. Before I share my pick for Sunday, take a second to hit the like button for me right now, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment for me below. Tell me, who do you think is going to win MVP in the NFL this season? With that said, let's get right to it. Pittsburgh Steelers versus New York Jets. This is the matchup that I'm targeting in the early slate. Aaron Rodgers returned to the Jets from an Achilles injury that sidelined him for the entire season before that. The Jets also fired head coach Robert Saleh only a few weeks into the season after they failed to meet their preseason expectations. Fast forward to the end of the season, and the Jets failed to make the playoffs by a long shot, and Rodgers was basically run out of town. We all know this is a big game for him personally after he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the offseason. How many players get to seek revenge against their former team in week 1 of the following season? Justin Fields is now the quarterback of the New York Jets, and he's also seeking revenge on the Steelers for benching him for Russell Wilson, even though he was playing somewhat decently last season. Aaron Rodgers is getting all of the headlines in this game, so it definitely feels like Justin Fields is the forgotten man in this matchup. It's worth noting that this is the first NFL season opener in the history of the league between 2 starting quarterbacks who played for the opposing team in the previous year. Aaron Rodgers played pretty well down the stretch for the Jets, but those games were largely meaningless because the Jets were already eliminated from playoff contention. He has another primetime receiving target to gel with this season as DK Metcalf also joined the Steelers in the offseason from the Seattle Seahawks. He's definitely a star receiver. The Steelers don't have running back Najee Harris. He went to the Chargers, so the workload will fall on Jaylen Warren, who did sign an extension. I have 2 concerns with the Steelers heading into this season. How mobile will Aaron Rodgers be given his age and lack of preseason reps with the Steelers starters? How will their offensive attack be able to adjust in games where they fail to get their run game going? When you look at the Jets, their defense should bounce back from last season. In my opinion, 8 of the 11 starters on the Jets defense this season faced Aaron Rodgers in last year's training camp when he was a member of the Jets. They also have a strong unit with their defensive line after trading for Harrison Phillips, and I also project Quinton Williams to have a monster season for the Jets. New Jets head coach Aaron Glenn probably didn't get enough credit for the job he did coaching the Lions defense last year. No group suffered more from injuries in the entire NFL in 2024, but Detroit still finished 5th in the league in defensive efficiency. That's really impressive in my opinion. The Jets were also crushed by injuries last season. They were also really unlucky with turnovers. I like the Jets linebackers, and even though cornerback Sauce Gardner is coming off of a down season, he's still one of the NFL's best defensive backs. I expect their defensive group to play with a lot of energy and look closer to the defense that we saw in 2023. This Jets team is also really talented at their offensive skill positions. Garrett Wilson signed a big-time deal this summer, signaling a vote of confidence from the organization, and their 1-2 punch running back duo of Breece Hall and Braylon Allen could be one of the best duos in the entire league. Justin Fields wasn't terrible in his brief stint with the Steelers. He kept turnovers to a minimum and actually won a few games for them. There were actually some calling for the Steelers to keep him as their starter, even though Russell Wilson returned from his own injury. We all know what Fields can do with his legs. I think there's a chance he could surprise some people earlier this season. The biggest wild card in this game is definitely the Jets' offensive line and how their first-round draft pick Armand Membou is able to match up against TJ Watt, who's one of the best defenders in the entire league. That's definitely the matchup to watch in my opinion if this game is important to you. Look, it's week 1. Anything can happen as preseason narratives are generally baked into these betting lines by now, but I have a pick in this game and it's not going to be very popular to start the season. I think the New York Jets will be able to get enough pressure on Aaron Rodgers to keep this game competitive. If Justin Fields can minimize his turnovers, as we saw in a small sample size with him last season, and they can get their run game going, I think the Jets have a chance to win this game outright, but give me the points here. My pick in this game is the New York Jets +3 at -115 odds to win 1 unit. I'll have multiple picks next weekend in week 2 for you, including player props. Leave a comment below. Who do you think will win NFL MVP this season? Subscribe to my channel now, hit the like button for me, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming sports predictions videos. It's Myguyknowsaguy here on my sports betting predictions channel. Best of luck with all of your plays in week 1. I'll see you next time.